Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tay, and today we are going to be talking about Sabrina Carpenter. Now, if you're watching this, I imagine you have listened to Sabrina's new album, Man's Best Friend, and if you haven't, then you've probably heard about it online because people are coming down hard on this album. Now, 2 weeks ago, I couldn't have cared less about this album. I don't even know if I knew what it was called. I'm not a Sabrina stan. I tried to get into emails I can't send, and I didn't really like it. I liked Short and Sweet, but it didn't really stick with me, so I was not eagerly anticipating this album. I was like, I'll probably listen to it at some point, and here we are. People have very strong feelings about this album, myself included. Many people think it's too explicit, too male-centered, degrading to women, and is generally tone-deaf given the current political climate. The lesser criticisms are that it is a cheap copy of Short and Sweet, lacking in both production and lyrics. So with that all being said, today I will be asking the question, is man's best friend actually woman's worst enemy? And the answer to that question is no. Again, 2 weeks ago, I couldn't have cared less about this album, and now I've written up basically an essay in defense of it. Now, first, we gotta go back to the beginning. Technically, Man-Child's the beginning, so I guess we'll start in the middle. I'm talking about the album cover release, and you probably witnessed what happened when the album cover came out. When I first saw this album cover, I was disturbed because her left arm looks like it should be her right arm. Others were also disturbed, but for very different reasons. People felt like her being on her knees in front of a man was too suggestive and just degrading in general. The man is also gripping her hair, which makes the image feel more intense. So after the backlash over the cover picked up, I started to think more about it, like literally against my will. And I didn't think it was necessarily degrading, but it wasn't clear what her intentions were. And I do want to say it is an issue that people couldn't figure out what her intentions were and that people were so divided about it. Like, there should have been focus groups involved and it should have been reworked, or she should have explained her intentions very early on in interviews. It doesn't matter what point you're making if it's not accessible to your audience, and that's part of being an artist. So I'm not letting her off too easy. There were two main defenses of this image. The first was that it was satire, making fun of how women are viewed and treated as objects. And the second was that it was her owning her sexuality. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, if it's her doing satire, it can't also be her embracing her sexuality. But what if it is? Hear me out. Now we must go all the way back to the beginning, to Man-Child, because Man-Child gave us all of the information we need to understand this album and how it was going to go down. This music video for Man-Child is a masterpiece. Again, I'm not a stan, but it's been a while since a music video made me feel this way, and I know people agree because it's at 75 million views in just 2 months. It's kind of crazy. In the video, Sabrina is stranded on a highway and is forced to hitchhike with various men in their clown cars. She leaves one, and then another drives up, and then she gets in his car, but eventually leaves that one, and the cycle continues. It's clearly a metaphor for her getting in and out of relationships, but the thing is, throughout this music video, she kind of looks like a fool. There's a part where she's hanging on the back of a truck in rollerblades, another scene she's in a shopping cart, and another she's on a jet ski. You get the idea. She also keeps ending up in physical danger throughout this video, and yet every time she leaves, she seeks out another man and gets in the car. So with that context in mind, my interpretation of the cover and the album, after thinking about it for way too long, are that it's her embracing the fact that she is a straight woman. She wants a man, she likes being in relationships, she wants to be loved, and sometimes she's gonna give a guy head. But sometimes these men end up making her look like a fool. I do not think the album cover is a grand statement about how women are seen as objects. I do think it is making fun of the fact that she, at times, literally or metaphorically, gets on her knees for a guy, and then he goes and does something stupid. Please, please, please. Maybe he cheats on her or breaks her heart or whatever the case may be, and then she's got egg on her face. In her interview with Zane Lowe, she kind of confirms this. She says the cover is meant to be playful. I got myself here. This is someone I love, but also someone that is emotionally doing a lot with my heart and a lot with my emotions. She also mentioned that the man was meant to be playing with her hair, not gripping it. I feel like that's an important detail. I think she just ended up compromising with that part of the photo because she says she picked this one because her facial expression shows that she is fully in control despite being on all fours. So when we look at this image, we can see that she is, comfortable, in control, and yet there is something kind of embarrassing about it. Like, there's really nothing wrong with her giving her man head if she chooses to, but also, why are you on your knees for a man? Get up. See, it's funny, and then it's a little serious, and then it goes back to being funny, and that's kind of the gag. She's choosing to get in and out of these relationships and keep dating despite the emotional turmoil this man or multiple men have put her through. Now let's look at this album and explore where this dichotomy comes up. It's pretty obvious on Man-Child. You said your phone was broken, just forgot to charge it. Whole outfit you're wearing, God, I hope it's ironic. Did you just say you're finished? Didn't know we started. It's all just so familiar, baby. What do you call it? See, the man is a fool. But also, this isn't the first time she's been in this situation. She says, I like my boys playing hard to get, and I like my men all incompetent, and I swear they choose me, I'm not choosing them. This song is the perfect opener because it sets up this dynamic so well. Like, she knows he's kind of a fool, at least at times, and she can probably do better, but she can't help herself because at the end of the day, she loves him. And I feel like people are leaving that part out or not realizing it because she doesn't directly say it very often. At the end of the day, this is about love for her and, being in love, finding love. On Tears, she talks about getting turned on by her man, doing the bare minimum. A little respect for women can get you very, very far. Remembering how to use your phone gets me oh so hot. Considering I have feelings, I'm like, why are my clothes still on? See, this is the definition of first I laughed, then I serioused. Like, it's such a fun, catchy song, but when you parse the lyrics, you're like, girl, we need to raise the bar. But that's the beauty of it, because it's so relatable. We have all seen a relationship at some point in our lives and been like, why is this amazing, gorgeous girl with this guy who is doing the bare minimum? But we also understand because she's just a girl in love, and so we have to let her live. Now, my man on Willpower, she's actually not really in control in this one, but it does show her acting a fool. She is desperately trying to get this guy's attention, and he just doesn't want her anymore. He keeps ignoring her, and she's, sad and mopey. On Sugar Talking, she kind of takes control back. He starts sending her text saying he wants to get back together, and she's like, you sound so stupid. And then she tells him to prove his love through his actions instead of words. Yeah, your paragraphs mean nothing to me. It's verbatim what you said last week. It's your 7th last chance, honey. Get your sorry butt to mine. See, she's in control of the situation. He's the one begging to get back together. But then when you know how many chances she has given him, she looks a little foolish. Nobody's son, she loses control again. He broke her heart and she's crying in bed. And it's not the first time because she says, what a familiar feeling. Girl, get up. Please get up. Like, you are literally Sabrina Carpenter.
You are Elastigirl! My God, pull yourself together!
That's the thing. From an outsider's perspective, it's easy to be like, girl, you are Sabrina Carpenter. Like, if he's not treating you right, leave him. But when you're in it, it's like, it's not that simple, She is in love. Go-Go Juice, amazing song. This one is mostly her being a fool. Like, she's drunk calling her exes. That's the whole song. But she does say, just trying different numbers, didn't think that you'd pick up. The didn't think that you'd pick up kills me because it's like she's side-eyeing him. Like, I didn't think you'd actually pick up. And she's also saying, you aren't special. I called a bunch of my exes. Just trying different numbers. See, they're the fools. These men that she's calling. But she's kind of the bigger fool at the end of the day. Don't Worry is the best example where she is in control. It's literally her using manipulation tactics on the guy. And that's another thing about this album. It's like these little confessions that us girls normally wouldn't own up to. But there is a sprinkle of foolishness in the song, because in the second verse she says, silent treatment and humbling you, well, that's some of my best work. Thought sleeping with you might help me decide, but it was annoyingly good, so thanks for making it worse. So she was trying to, go no contact, give him the silent treatment, but ended up sleeping with him. See, she has control, but it's like it slipped a little. Again, very relatable. The design is very human. And goodbye is very similar. She says, goodbye means that you're losing me for life. If you say it's over, don't come crawling back. But in the bridge, she says, when did you get here? Go put on some clothes. That was my best Sabrina Carpenter impression. So we know she got back with him. See, she's in control, but she gives in sometimes. Like, she is literally just a girl. Okay, so those 8 songs, I think, best show this dynamic. The other 4 don't really do it justice. But, it's showing she knows what she wants. She's in control of her desires. But every now and then she gives into those desires. And sometimes she ends up embarrassed or heartbroken. I feel like part of the reason people are so upset is that Sabrina is telling it how it is instead of maybe how it should be. Like, as a woman, you shouldn't settle for the bare minimum. If the guy isn't appreciating you, you should leave him. You shouldn't call him, you shouldn't text him, and you definitely shouldn't take him back. That is how it should be. But that's not usually how it goes. You might tell yourself you're not going to answer his calls, and then you do it anyway. Or maybe you find yourself drunk calling him. I just think this album captures the experience of straight women in a worthwhile way. It's more honest and vulnerable than people are realizing because it's covered up by this, fun, silly pop production. Like, really take a look at the lyrics. It takes these embarrassing moments that many women have gone through and can relate to and makes them something you can laugh about or cry and laugh about. So with that all being said, I do want to touch on the bandwagon hate Sabrina has been getting, because some of it really feels like people just tearing down a woman, and I think some people are doing this without realizing. If you truly do not like the album, that's fine. I don't think it's fair to say it's a bad album. And the way I've seen people talking in general is just very harsh. People are calling her a one-hit wonder. I saw someone say, no wonder it took her so long to get famous. It just feels a little excessive for an album that is marginally worse quality than Short and Sweet. Some people are saying it's too male-centered and promiscuous, and I don't think these are fair critiques because, in my opinion, I don't think it's significantly more explicit or male-centered than Short and Sweet was. I think 15 Minutes is the only song on Short and Sweet that doesn't really center around or mention a man. And the only songs on Man's Best Friend that are really explicit are Tears, Never Getting Laid, and We Almost Broke Up. House Tour and When Did You Get Hot are really suggestive, but you can say that about a lot of songs on Short and Sweet. So I would say it's slightly more explicit than Short and Sweet, but people are acting like it's a drastic shift, and I don't think that's fair. Especially given how much people loved Juno and Bedchem, it just don't make sense to me. People are also saying the writing is not as good or clever as it was on Short and Sweet. And the more I listen to this album and reading the lyrics to make this video, I actually feel like it's really clever and also really funny. Like, Sabrina is really funny. And I could spend hours, going through the lyrics, comparing them to Short and Sweet, but ultimately, if you don't agree on this point, then we're probably just not going to agree, and that's fine. If your favorite songs on Short and Sweet were Sharpest Tool, Lie to Girls, or Don't Smile, I understand why you might not like this album, but the majority of people who don't like this album seemed to enjoy Short and Sweet. So how are people already bored of her shtick and her writing when these are kind of what got her famous? And it's only been a year. It feels like some people, are over her as a person and are using this album as an excuse to tear her down. I understand that with everything going on right now, why people might not want a fun, silly pop album about a straight woman's dating struggles. But just because it's not making a profound statement doesn't mean it doesn't have value or a place in our society. Like, there's room for this album in our society. This album is from a woman's perspective. It caters specifically to women and the female experience, or at least the straight female experience. So I think it is crazy to say that it is upholding traditional ways in which women are viewed. And this is proven by the comments on her socials. Go look on any of her pages and see what people are saying about her. Like, they're saying men don't want a woman like this. She's too promiscuous. Like, they hate her. And I just think it's ironic to tell her how to go about her dating life in the name of female empowerment. If women are allowed to do whatever they want, why are we telling Sabrina that she's doing it wrong? Sure, she has an audience, so what she says matters, and she shouldn't be encouraging anything bad, but nowhere on this record does she degrade or devalue herself. She is self-aware of the fact that she looks desperate at times, perhaps like a dog wanting attention from its owner. But she is still in control about her dating life. Like, she has agency in all of these relationships. She might choose to get drunk and call up her ex. Maybe they've broken up 7 times, and she chooses to get back together with him anyway. She is gonna do whatever she wants, and at times is gonna look a little foolish. That doesn't mean she's devaluing herself. It's not meant to be this complicated grand statement. It's meant to be relatable, and for a lot of people, I think it is. Obviously, her being a woman does not absolve her from criticism. I'm not sitting here blindly defending her. I'm not a Sabrina stan. But there's something going on here that goes beyond people not liking an album. It feels a little vicious and a little misogynistic. And I'm not sitting here saying, if you did not like Man's Best Friend, then you're a misogynist. That's not what I'm saying, but some amount of the hate she's getting just is. So now I am gonna end this video with a quote from Taylor Swift. Talking about female artists, she says, "Everyone's a shiny new toy for like 2 years. The female artists that I know of have reinvented themselves 20 times more than the male artists. They have to, or else you're out of a job. Be new to us, be young to us, but only in a new way, and only the way we want. And reinvent yourself, but only in a way that we find to be equally comforting, but also a challenge for you. Live out a narrative that we find interesting enough to entertain us, but not so crazy that it makes us uncomfortable." So I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Yeah, let me know how you guys feel. Do you think people are being unnecessarily harsh on the album and Sabrina? Do you think the criticism is warranted? Do you think people are gonna switch up on her again? I think when Life of a Showgirl comes out, people are gonna start to like her again, but we'll have to see. Let me know if you disagree with me and we can fight about it in the comments, or have a civil and thoughtful discussion, perhaps. Yeah, goodbye.